Hello friends, welcome to the Seated Scribe, a channel where we discuss pens and writing, and I am Rudrashish Dutta. Friends, before I go on to today's unboxing and review, let me inform you that from next week we shall have 2 episodes per week instead of the present one, which happens to be only on Sundays. Each week we shall review a pen I have been using for at least 2 years each Wednesday, and on Sundays I shall stick to the classical unboxing and review. One reason I felt reviews of frequently used pens are necessary is because by 2 years of a fountain pen's use, the pen would have been tested in most features of resilience required for a fountain pen and must have developed characters of their own, which as I found out, changed often from the stage of their first use. I hope this will give viewers a layered perspective on how fountain pens develop over time in mid to long term period of use. And now friends, we go on to today's episode. Friends, today I will be reviewing a product from a Japanese company that is perhaps the most quintessentially Japanese among all Japanese pen manufacturers, the Sailor. The Sailor, founded in 1911, brands a large section of their entry and mid-level or mid-range products under the brand Sailor 1911, with a mind-boggling number of variations in colors, nib sizes and nib widths. For example, the Sailor 1911 Standard Gold Trimmed, whose medium nib version I will be reviewing today, comes in extra fine, fine, medium, medium fine, broad, zoom, music nib. Incidentally, music nibs are types of very specialized nibs that gives broad downstrokes and narrow side strokes as per requirements of classical Japanese lettering and Japanese calligraphy. So without any further delay, let us go to the Sailor 1911 Standard with gold trims and a medium nib for today's review. Well friends, this is the Sailor 1911 Standard black gold trimmed fountain pen, and there is an inner box and an outer cardboard sleeve which I am putting aside. So this is the cardboard box which houses the pen, and this is a plain and simple no nonsense box which has the Sailor logo and brand name punched in gold color. So let me open the box. Yes. So these are the contents. Now let me check the paperwork because there are a number of paperworks. Let me check them one by one. Okay, so this is a declaration that Sailor had won the Penworld's Reader Choice Award in 2018, 19, 21 and 22, and the best everyday carry in 2018 and 2020. Obviously, these attests to their quality as a premier pen manufacturer. This, I understand, is the warranty card. Now, one reason why I had said in the introduction that Sailor is perhaps quintessentially more Japanese than any other Japanese pen manufacturer is that the paperwork that we get inside this is entirely written in Japanese, as you can see, friends. So, well, and even this maintenance manual is completely in Japanese. So unless one has a knowledge of reading Japanese characters, they would pretty much not be able to understand the written contents. Of course, we can get an idea of what is being explained through these illustrative diagrams, but nevertheless, let me keep it aside and go to the actual contents. So I find that they have punched in 2 cartridges which are supposedly black in color. I'll be using one of the cartridges for today's writing sample. Let me keep it aside, and this is the pen. So the pen is couched in a plastic. Let me keep the box aside, and this is the Sailor 1911 standard with gold trim and medium nib. They have put in a plastic token. Let me keep it aside, and here is the pen. Well, the pen is the classic cigar shaped pen with a rounded conical finial at the cap end, and in the golden band, if I can focus, well, so the letters as they stand are made in Japan with Sailor 1911 declaration. So Sailor is apparently and quite justifiably proud of their century-old lineage of producing quality fountain pens. Incidentally, they have a double ringed end, gold trimmed end at the cap end. Let me open it. It opens in around 2 strokes, 2 rotations, and the cap is otherwise made of resin or plastic. So let me keep the cap aside and look at the pen. Sailor is known for a very specialized type of in-house nibs, cutting across nib widths, which are tailored towards Japanese lettering and calligraphy, and this is the primary reason why many Sailor users across the world, irrespective of the nib width, often complain that Sailor pens have a more than usual feedback, and we will see during the writing sample how this medium nib actually gives in its own share of feedbacks with use. The nib, as you can see, is 14 karat gold nib with the Sailor logo and 14K punched on it, and the nib width is inscribed or punched in here with an M implying medium. The feed is classic looking and plastic. So there is a gold band here. There is a slight flare, as you can see, at this end, after which there is a gradual step down, and the gripping section incidentally is smaller than the average length of gripping sections that we otherwise get in standard fountain pens, and these are the threads. They are by no means sharp, and there is a step up at this point which leads to the widest section of the barrel, and there's a gradual step down to the other end of the barrel, the finial, which also is, as you can see, conically shaped, a rounded cone as it were. So this is the outer body of the pen. Now let me open it to see what is inside. Well, no, they have not supplied a converter with this. Now this is quite surprising. Anyway, so we'll be using a cartridge to test out the writing, and this is actually one single metallic section, and at this end they have put in a rubber o-ring as a washer to couch the continuous pressure that often comes with repeated threadings and unthreadings. So this is the pen. It's a typical and classically cigar shaped pen. Otherwise, in terms of its weight, it is fairly lightweight, because the entire section is made of plastic or resin, if you may call it. Now we'll use one of the cartridges that they have provided and take a writing sample on a 70 GSM paper to see how much feedback the medium version of the nib provides to writers. Well friends, I have inked up this pen with one of the two cartridges provided by seller, since there was no converters given with this packet. So this is the proprietary seller cartridge in black ink that has been provided, and I have put one of these into the pen. Now friends, for those of you who may not want to buy or invest in a converter that fits this pen, the thing that I usually do is I have a syringe with which I refill the cartridge with an ink of my choice and color and reuse the cartridge again. So this is clearly one of the ways that we can use pens which are not provided with converters. So let me keep it aside and give a writing sample on an 80 GSM paper, the paper that is normally used under usual writing circumstances. And so this is it. I hope by this time the ink from the cartridge has traveled to the point. Let me see what the nib offers. Standard with a gold trim. Well, the thickness is the standard medium, and in fact I do not detect that the Japanese medium in this case is narrower than the Western medium. I find it equal in thickness, and this pen is a 14 karat gold nib, so I will just check whether it offers any flex experience. No friends, the nibs are fairly stiff. No nib width variations of the calligraphy type. Well, it is fairly wet. The downstrokes are slightly wider and wetter than the upstrokes. But the nib is fairly stiff, and this is understandable because with regard to the calligraphy requirement, Sailor has both the zoom nib as well as the music nib, as well as a nib that is grinded specially for left-handers. So clearly, with so many options in mind, it's understandable that flexing tendencies would be absent in most of the other nib types. So all in all, this is a very pleasant writer. There is just a hint of a feedback, just a slight hint of a feedback. Otherwise, the pen is a very, very smooth writer. It writes very smoothly, and one of the unique features of Sailor, as I found in the other models that I use, it tends to deliver just the right amount of ink to the tip of the nib, and we do not get any inconsistencies whatsoever whenever we are writing. So this is a huge plus with Sailor, and since they manufacture their nibs in-house, it is expected that they take the quality issues of nibs very seriously. So clearly, I am a satisfied user of Sailor 1911 in a medium nib with gold trims, and whether this can be used as an everyday carry, yes, definitely it can be used as an everyday carry. There are a lot of plus points for it. One is the weight of the pen. The weight is very, very much on the lighter side, and the other thing is that Sailor pens are usually posting friendly. So if one wishes to use the pen posted, especially those with large above average sized hands, they can very well do it without the discomfort of the weight of the cap back weighting the pen. So this is something again which adds to Sailor's proficiency in appealing to a very wide range of fountain pen users. So friends, that is all that I have to tell you with regard to Sailor 1911 standard in a medium nib and gold trims, and I'll be back with another episode in a couple of days. Thank you friends for watching. Keep safe and goodbye.